Alright, guys, we're back after a brief hiatus, which wasn't even brief, but we're back. We have a lot of new ideas, good stuff on the way. We weren't doing nothing the whole time, I swear, and hopefully I can introduce a new member of the sounding team soon, but I guess more on that later. And I don't know, guys, how are you?
Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear about the new sounding material that we're gonna have.
Yes, we're gonna have multiple segments, weekly segments. The sounding book club is in development, and it'll be good. We're
Honestly excited.
same.
I need books to read. I need to get back into
Oh
reading.
yeah,
I used to read in like, bro. I don't know if you guys had this, but like, so when you were younger, in like fourth, fifth, sixth grade, did you guys read like go through multiple books a month and then just like stop reading at some point?
yeah. Me
Like
and
I just
Yeah, I
I
felt that.
I know multiple people who have done that, and it's like I don't know what does that, but like
it's when you
I would literally I'd go through multiple books a week, and now I'm just like, eh.
it's when you don't have a way to buy the next Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, or you're waiting for the newest one to come out, and then you're just like, what do I do?
Yeah,
Which I
so
stopped
sad.
reading after like I want to say the sixth one, so I'm sure they killed it. It's a good book. It's not a good
They
Diary of a
they
Wimpy
definitely
Kid
did. The
book,
last the last one I did sucked.
and that's what this episode is about. We're talking about certain games and the criticism that applies to these games, which is it's a good game, but it's not a good X game, where X is a variable representing the franchise it's released under.
Not the actual X Games.
Yeah, no, that that's a different episode.
Honestly, I'm ready for X Games episode.
And I guess we'll start with the first game, Breath of the Wild, which I verified this with my brother. He said he has heard people say Breath of the Wild is a good game, but not a good Zelda game. I don't know, Jude. You seem to have the most experience with this. What do you think?
All right. So for in terms of Breath of the Wild, it's pretty fundamental to understand what other Zelda games were like prior to this game. So most of them followed a very linear path and were not as open world or not as freeform as Breath of the Wild. Also, they had more contained plots because Breath of the Wild is a little bit overarching in the different like types of regions it wants to connect and so forth. But in terms of like when people say it's not a good Zelda game, I think that criticism falls a little bit flat because um, just because of like I feel like it's mostly in response to kind of the open worldness of the game because you transition from a series that's been mostly linear to now being very open world and not as linear. I feel like it was like a big stylistic change that I don't think too many people enjoyed. Um, and with addition of open world, you get like other elements that people don't like as well. Durability, like random weather events, random events in general, and like just like PvP or not PvE on like like random enemies encounters. So for me, I think Breath of the Wild does stand up. I mean, obviously it's good enough to the point where like it's getting a sequel. So that's my stance on the take. I think people mostly say that because of the transition from linear to open world.
I mean, I want to ask: have Zelda games just become less linear as like time has went on? I think was the last game Skyward Sword. I don't know
Yeah, sure.
how
So,
linear that was.
following like the 3D Zelda line of progression, it's been like from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask to Wind Waker, and from there you go to Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. And
Yeah,
I'll say that as the game got eventually a little bit more open as the series went on, I would definitely like. I think Breath of the Wild was just like a very big leap in that bringing opens to a series.
I think they're gonna keep it. Nintendo works really hard, like with making Link and Smash Brothers, the Link from Breath of the Wild. They definitely want to legitimize this as a Zelda game. I feel.
I mean, yeah, and especially like the sequel too. Like they're literally making a sequel for it, so I feel like that's further cements. That Breath of the Wild. I think as a whole, like Breath of the Wild was like pretty influential. I mean, people have given it like 10 out of tens. and it's a pretty common choice for people's like like best game of on the Switch or of the decade and whatnot. So ultimately, like I feel like it did a lot of good for the series as a whole.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, as somebody who has not played a lot of Zelda games, I have heard, like, from the few people I know who are really into Zelda games, I have heard like nothing but good things about Breath of the Wild, and I think that it, like, kind of looking from the outside in, it sounds like a game that is very susceptible to that kind of elitism, and like, it's that elitism that is really the biggest criticism of the game rather than actual stuff about the game. And it's like, that's why, like, the whole idea of that is kind of stupid, because you're just you're just being elitist about your franchise and um not wanting it to change or evolve in any way. And like, you just want every game to be the game you like, and that's just not how it works.
Well, imagine adding new ideas to a series.
Yeah, imagine innovating.
Yeah, I think it's also
I
has something to do with like the trend of like more and more games just becoming like open world. Like what is it? Like Pokemon became open world with Sword and Shield. Uh, I don't know, and especially like
Well, just like
it's kind
that
of become
genre
like
is like popular.
yeah, it's like the most popular like growing genre. I mean, like No Man's Sky was like extremely ambitious for what it wanted to do, but ultimately like
Which it didn't do.
people loved it, or people loved it before it released because the open world is then you could do X Y Z.
And people surprisingly like it now. It's made a like weird comeback. They actually added a bunch of stuff, and it's like a playable game now.
Winner of Best Ongoing Game at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by No Man's Sky.
I'm my my friend pre-ordered it for like $60, and then it came out, and he was so mad because it was just like he played it for a day and did nothing.
Yeah, I
It was
feel
like, this is the worst purchase I've ever made.
my brother got 2 copies, and
Two.
Why two?
so he could play with my other brother,
Oh no.
and they couldn't even like. I don't actually. Why did he get 2? It wasn't that multiplayer then. I
No, like
I think he
It was
brought
like-
2
it was-
later.
It was like promised, but like
It was promised, and then it just like
wasn't there.
it was sort of in the game. It was in the game, but like you couldn't like it was like Sea of Thieves level multiplayer where you just couldn't find anyone. If you played for an entire like 10-hour day, you would see one person maybe.
It's very ambitious, though. What can I say?
Fair.
Good job, No Man's Sky.
Fair.
So, I mean, I guess I want to start about the criticism to kind of preface this for the upcoming games. Like, my response to it is like, you can't say it's a good game, but it's not a good this game because it is one of those games. Like, Breath of the Wild is a Zelda game because it's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It literally is a Zelda game. So, I mean, obviously, it kind of refers to like the ideas laid out by that series, but I still think that makes it not work.
Yeah, I think it's just like you're just refusing to let the game you like evolve in any way. And it's just like, like games change. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I can see that. Next game I want to talk about, which again, I don't know, Jude's probably gonna have the most experience with most of these, is Fallout 4, which I think you're probably ready to like destroy the shit out of.
476 is
Fallout 76 is a good game.
Trust.
a good game, but it's not a good Fallout game.
I think it's a better Fallout game.
Okay, so Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is in a very weird spot because this criticism mostly, comes in the form because people mostly have like memories of New Vegas, which is like considerably one of the greatest games of the decade, and Fallout 3, which is also a very solid game when they like think of Fallout. So I feel like okay, so for me, I don't like 4 that much, although I do think it's pretty fun. Just because when people say this, it's not so much about like the genre of the game change, but it's more about sort of like the writing and how that has like evolved. So this is like as opposed to like Breath of the Wild, here Fallout has like fundamentally changed. Kind of it's changed its story to more suit the combat, which is why I think the game's like super fun. But for a lot of people, the game falls short in story and whatnot. So now, as my hero has been like, what do you think about it when it comes to like story design and whatnot?
Well, I mean, if like you want the story of a game, like not you want the story of a game to change over the years, but like you want them to have new ideas in like storytelling and how that works with the game mechanics. So you're just like, if the game never changed, you'd end up complaining about it anyway. So like, what do you want?
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
I feel like developers have to balance between, you know, is is this game gonna get, are people gonna get mad at this game because it's nothing like we've done before, or are they gonna get mad that we're not innovating at all?
Yeah.
And like, you'd rather err on the side of innovation, I think. And like, these are creative people. They're like, creative people want to innovate.
Yeah, that's
Real
fair.
creative people want to innovate. So
Yeah,
it's like,
and like
it's gonna
in a similar
happen.
sense, the same criticism like where it's like more about story kind of goes the same for Skyrim. Same developers, and people have also felt that Skyrim or that Skyrim's 5 was foretelling of Fallout 4, just because of like people loved Morrowind and Oblivion, the 2 games before Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
and like
I actually haven't.
Mm.
No, keep going. Keep
yeah,
going.
like I can see where they're coming from because I've played those games, and to me like I feel like modern Bethesda games, and this is like just like overarching as a whole, are like a lot more shallower, I guess, in like terms of like depth or like immersiveness or whatever it may be.
I remember when Skyrim came out. I was kind of high. I was
And yeah,
an
yeah, like
Oblivion person.
yeah, there's like no shame in like liking the game if you if you are someone that's played like the other games. I'm not saying like they're bad games by any means, but like people have noticed. I feel like that's more like with this criticism when people talk about these games. It's like they're noticing like
Hmm.
there's like a drop in quality. Like what happened?
I'm completely like unaware of like the Morrowind purist community. Like I hear about the people who think Morrowind is the best Elder Scrolls game, but I also didn't like Oblivion that much. It was just weird. Like the pacing and stories were just like repetitive. Go to this gate, go here, get this stuff, go to another gate, do this. I don't know. Well, I mean, what's a game that gets criticized for being too repetitive, like redoing the same thing? I had an example and
Mm.
I forgot it.
I think
Well, before we get to that, can I just ask you
yeah,
guys
sure.
something?
Yeah.
Did you guys play the Arkham games?
No, I've not.
Arc what? What?
Or
Arkham.
Batman.
Oh, I played it briefly. Not only one though.
Arkham. See, I don't know. I haven't looked much into like the criticism that Arkham City got after Arkham Knight or Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum was the first one in the series, and Arkham City was the second one. I don't know much what like criticism Arkham City got compared to Arkham Knight, but I feel like if a game was gonna be called not a good like Arkham game, it would be like City compared to Asylum, because Asylum was the first Arkham game, and like the for the whole story you were stuck on the island that Arkham Asylum is on, and like you couldn't leave that, and it was very linear. Like it was very much, it was very linear, and City became a lot more open world y, like I don't know if it was, yeah, I guess you could call it like just an open world game, but definitely way more than Arkham Asylum. And I really think City was the best game in that series, and the rest of the games in the series followed City. So I think if if there is if if a developer is trying to not have the criticism of like, oh, this is a, you know, it's a good game but it's not a good whatever game. If you're trying to avoid that criticism, what you could just do is have your first few games be a little bit different, and then the one that people enjoy the most, like you build on that. And I think that is sort of on a very small scale what happened with the Arkham games. And like they got progressively worse after City, but whatever.
No, and definitely
Like
like
the point still
we
works.
were just talking about Grand Theft Auto. That's obviously what happened there.
Yeah,
People like
I
Yeah,
feel like when
with one and two
yeah,
being like very different.
yeah, for me, like I feel like when the criticism is said, like the latter half of the sentence where it's like it's not a good X game, I feel like it's mostly like trying to attribute it to like a certain genre of game, if that makes sense. Like like I don't know, like for Fallout, for example, I feel like people say that because like they want like when they think of Fallout, they think of like story-driven first-person shooter, but like
see
it's changed.
with regards it definitely has, but with regards to genre, I mean, I kind of want to use that to segue into the next game, which is literally technically the second game in a series, which is weird. That's not true. Fallout 4, there was, a lot of development of the Fallout series, and Breath of the Wild, Zelda's been developing for such a long time. But Dark Souls 2 is the technically third Souls game, but for most people, second Souls game. And a lot of people say it's a good game, but not a good Souls game. And kind of now they look at it within the context of Dark Souls 1 and 3 being the good Souls games. Well, I know I had like 300 hours in Dark Souls 2, so I can talk about this one. Uh, I don't know, because it's weird. At the same time, people like Dark Souls 1, and it's really not. I don't think it's that different from Dark Souls 1 at all. I've played all of them. I don't think it's that different.
That sounds like just what happened. That sounds like what I think probably happened with the Arkham games to like a very in a very like to a very small extent, where like, you know, it wasn't, it was like there was a noticeable difference between the first and second game in the series, but like it wasn't crazy enough that like these are completely different things, and like it like this is enough to get upset about, which is what I think you're trying to say.
Yeah, honestly, this one is more of like, yeah, you're right. It's more like a hindsight criticism that people make when they look at the Souls series. Like back then, I don't know if people were saying it once it came out, but now people look at it as just like the worst of the Souls game. Like with 3, I guess Dark Souls 3 wanted to be more like Dark Souls 1 in terms of like atmosphere, but I think Dark Souls 2 had a unique and still solid art direction and atmosphere. I have an art book of Dark Souls 2 not that far away from me right now. I don't want to say it's the best Souls game, but it looks like I would say that.
But yeah, but like yeah, so just looking at like two by itself, I mean like it's like very noticeably different for like a lot of people. I feel like Ray is right when people like say this like retroactively now as opposed to like back then, just because of like kind of like the return to like DS1 that we kind of mentioned was that like that
Mm,
was like I feel like a lot of people enjoyed it. I feel like some people were disappointed by it, but I can't say that like I'm pretty sure virtually everyone saw it coming. That like if there was going to be a Dark Souls 3, it would be more in the style of Dark Souls 1.
yeah, I see that. But it's also like, at the same time, like, the Souls games like reuse a lot of concepts, and I don't understand. Like, I appreciate that difference. I'm tired of playing Demon Souls, which has like a an underground wood scaffolding, deep plague area, and then Dark Souls, which also has that, and then Dark Souls 2, which has that same kind of area. I just know it's called the gutter there. So I really feel like that series is kind of reusing premises like that. Like Dark Souls 3 reuses well, it doesn't reuse, but it reincorporates, I think, like Anor Londo and stuff. Those Souls 1 elements that you essentially it's those differences that are making the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like Souls, as it stands, like on the whole, like I think like Souls is done very well in like keeping with its. I feel like in keeping like a very consistent theme, but I feel like just because of like the feel of Dark Souls 2, I feel like is also a very big factor in this criticism because Dark Souls 2, as it stands, is probably the most vertical Dark Souls we'll ever get.
That's true. That's very true. I guess people didn't like that. You have to like jump to get places,
Yeah, like
and jumping in Dark Souls is not fun for anybody who hasn't played Dark Souls. It is possibly one of the worst mechanics in any video game.
Yeah, just from like watching people play Dark Souls, like it doesn't look fun. Like not Dark Souls doesn't look fun, but like jumping in Dark Souls doesn't look fun.
It's not even jumping. It's just like it's like jumping in original Doom games. It doesn't happen. You don't jump.
yeah,
You just move from point A to point B faster so that you can cover a little bit of air.
it's fair too. I mean, also like Dark Souls 2, like has some of the most annoying mechanics in the series. I mean, like granted, it is Dark Souls, and there are it's kind of to be expected, but like yeah, the idea of like they kind of like change some of the mechanics like wildly from Dark Souls 1. Like you have to use life gems now instead of like Estus, or you have to like parrying works differently, or like you can do certain different things that weren't possible. I feel like that like kind of like throws off a lot of people, especially given the
Mm.
popularity of 1 and 3 in comparison with 2.
It was definitely like a lot to put on them. Like, yeah, I could kind of see it. Like, this game sets up this expectations. Dark Souls 2 wants you to do this instead. It is a bit weird, I guess. And Dark Souls 3 being like the least messed up mechanically in that sense. I mean, obviously, there's always like annoying features that are necessary. Like, most people like to complain about what it's the basilisks, I think, in Souls 1 and Plague and Demon Souls. And in Dark Souls 2, it's probably. Actually, I don't even know what people didn't like.
Like
Probably,
boss
I guess
wise,
everything, obviously.
yeah.
Like game mechanic wise, like something like Basilisk or like Plague from Demon Souls,
Yeah, I mean, for like a
fall
lot of
damage.
people, I feel like they felt like the game was either too underwhelming or too like extremely bullshit. Sometimes like the what was it a Fume Night, like one of the hardest, like the I feel like that's like the cat, like that's like what Dark Souls 2 is most known for, like its boss, Fume Night. A lot of people think that fight's like one of the more like balanced fights in the game, as
I
opposed to
liked
like
Fume
like
Knight.
Royal Rat Authority or some shit like that, or like the Gang Squad.
That was Royal Rat Authority. Dark Souls 2 had the best boss names,
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, like, and like the
Um,
stupid like the dude and his congregation. That was
what's his name?
I don't know, but it's fucking stupid the way it was designed.
Oh,
Because
come on, you got like Deacons of the Deep. I
yeah, I
mean,
know, but like that fight was so bullshit, like batshit easy in comparison to like Fume Knight or like the fucking wolves in the Ice DLC.
Prowling Magus and Congregation.
So corny that fucking was.
That's I need to remember that. I'm just gonna use that as like a comparison to any time a group of people do anything. It's just gonna be prowling mages and congregation.
Yeah, fuck no. Whatever. Give it to Dark Souls 2. I think it does good, despite what people
I love Dark
sometimes
Souls
say
2.
about it.
It's not my favorite. Demon Souls is my favorite. Dark Souls 2 is, I guess it's sentimental. That's why I'm like so eager to defend it because it was my first one.
Yeah, it's
well, not
like
really, but
it sounds like nostalgia, honestly.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
fair.
well, obviously, like this is my first time like talking about the bosses in like years. Like I haven't heard the words prowling magus and congregation since maybe like 2016, 17. Yeah. The gutter.
And Magus and congregation.
Okay, but come on. Dark Souls 3, Deacons of the Deep. It's literally just spin.
Oh yeah, deacons do suck cock.
I love Deacons. Alright, I'll move on to the next game so I don't have to rant about Souls, which could kind of be its own episode because I love the series, including Demon Souls, which just got remade, and I wish I had a PS5.
That one's all you guys.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know. This is already mostly us, but like,
Uh-huh.
Ray can contribute.
I got my Arkham Companion.
Okay, this is another like weirdly me take. Resident Evil, which
Oh.
is a franchise I don't know anybody else that plays. Jude, have you played any Resident Evil?
Resi, I've watched the speedrun, so I have a very loose understanding of what's going on in the games.
Okay, well,
I wish I had played a Resident
Me too,
Evil
me
game.
too.
They look
Resi
cool.
and Silent Hill. Those are the two I wish I
see,
played.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, again, I guess Resident Evil's kind of defined itself as a franchise that experiments in ways where every game is different. So I imagine the ones like you guys are talking about is Resident Evil 7, which is not like any other Resident Evil game at all.
So what you're saying is
No,
it's a
no,
good
no, but
game,
like
a
I
good
guess
Resident Evil game.
no, I'm saying Resident Evil games do that. That's what makes the game a Resident Evil game. But yeah, it's a good game. It's not a good Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I get what you mean though.
I guess like they kind of incorporate that into the definition of a Resident Evil game. So Resident Evil 4 was a big step. Resident Evil 1 and 3, they were all like third person games, shitty aiming. They all had the worst controls. Like you have to press a button to turn. You move in 4 directions. You hold a button
What?
and then you turn in a direction.
What?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I think they might have fixed it by like in like 2 or 3. But that's all my memories. They're very old. Like and the first 3 games work in that way. And they just kind of like change the narrative, location, and characters. And Resident Evil 4 comes out and it's like it looks more like I don't even know what to compare it to except for Resident Evil 5. They're like more I guess it's more like Fortnite shooting. Like the character's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Fortnite shooting in Resident Evil.
In a
I haven't
GameCube
played a
game.
Resident Evil game, so that probably makes sense to someone who has played a Resident Evil game. But like calling it more Fortnite-esque shooting.
So have you seen like Silent Hill? Like that kind of
Uh-huh.
the first 3 games look like that in terms of like the viewpoint. And then it goes to more like Fortnite. It becomes progressively Fortnite. This is the way games have been going until Fortnite was released.
Games have just been converted to Fortnite.
The true
Literally had-
source.
Resident Evil Fortnite skins
not-
when?
They should do that. I would play Fortnite. I'm kidding. I wouldn't.
No,
It's
you
not a
would
good
not.
So
Fortnite
Resident-
game.
It's a good skin. It's not a good Fortnite skin.
I feel like that happens too. I feel like that's
It's a good event. It's not a good Fortnite event.
if that hurts. It hurts to listen to that. If I hear that, if I hear anybody say that and they're not joking, I'm going to be so mad.
just look at Galactus event reviews. Watch. That's gotta exist.
I'm sure it's gonna have like, oh, it's a good like when the Doctor Strange 2 event comes out and they do like some survival horror game. It's like it's a good event. It's not a good Fortnite event.
It's not a good Fortnite. It's a good skin. It's not a good Fortnite skin.
Oh my god, I hate that. What even is a Fortnite skin?
It's a good dance. It's not a good Fortnite
Yeah.
dance.
God.
But it's like a 9-year-old saying it.
I hope I see. That's why I'm making this episode, so the gaming industry stops thinking like this. So please do not use this as a criticism, because Resident Evil 4 is a Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 5 is a Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 4, I mean, back on like the rant, it keeps a lot of like these survival horror elements that are in the first 3 games, like, you know, atmospherically and pace. It's kind of similar, maybe a little bit faster, but and it also looks way better. And Resident Evil 5, again, the plot, you know, like the zombies are more like people in terms of like how they move and just how they look. They're kind of just like people and move faster, and it's more action than, you know, survival horror. So that's why I think it goes to Resident. I mean, again, this doesn't work when nobody here has
Yeah.
played them. But I'm just saying, within response to the franchise that continues to reinvent itself, that criticism does not hold up in this case, because it has been doing that.
This is all reminding me that I need to try to play Outlast again, because I tried to play it once when I was like 12 and got too scared before I actually saw any enemies, and I like shut it off and stopped playing.
I'm still too scared.
Like I want to play it because it looks cool, and this is just reminding me that like I need to catch up on horror games, but I just like was too scared for a long time. It's like why I didn't play Skyrim, because
Really?
at the beginning of Skyrim there's like the spider, and
Oh,
like,
bro.
bro, I had like a legitimate arachnophobia for a good amount of time, and like I've forced myself to get over that at least a little bit relatively recently. But before, I literally saw that spider like drop down and like shut my Xbox off and like left.
See, I have this image of you just calmly, like you see it drop down, and you just slowly just turn it off. Like you don't, and it's not even like aggressive. You're just like, I'm done.
Yeah, no,
Bye.
I just shut it off and walked away. Like I couldn't play the game after that. I couldn't play the game.
That's sad.
Skyrim's probably great. I would probably really enjoy Skyrim, but I can't play it now.
So sad. I remember that fight. I have like, I don't know why. I have a vision of that. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I guess I played too much Skyrim, but that's funny. That's funny. And yeah, so no more Resident Evil. But again, horror games are weird. I haven't been hearing much from the horror game industry besides Phasmophobia
Yeah, me
or
either.
whatever.
Bro, when's Bendy in the Ink Machine 2
Bendy
coming out?
2.
No, Bendy's over.
shit.
Oh wait,
When's
no.
Bendy
Bendy
2
2.
coming out?
Bendy.
I played like the free chapters of Bendy,
Okay,
and like
keep going.
they were okay.
I watched my mom play through the entirety of Bendy.
How was it?
I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't know. I feel like the living Tombstone community that follows it just bothers me.
That's so true.
So,
That's how I felt
Yeah.
about FNAF and like to an extent My Little Pony.
yeah, that too.
Oh God.
It,
One
in
episode
hindsight,
of
was Bendy a good game? But not a good Bendy.
No, good.
Bendy was a decent game.
I love Boris so much that I don't want to like.
Boris is the best character. Boris
Exactly.
is the best character. Boris is easily the best character. See, my problem with Bendy was like, in the first like 2 chapters were literally like an extended intro.
That
Like
that
you
yeah.
didn't really, like you didn't do much. Like you'd walk down a hallway and a board would fall off the ceiling, and like that was the most action-packed moment of the thing.
Can I want to?
Other than the end of chapter 1, which I don't know if any of you guys remember, like seeing it.
You mean the
but,
dude that
like, the
chases
end-
you?
Yeah.
What?
The guy that chases you around? The Bendy?
Yeah, the guy that chases you around. Yeah, like that's the most eventful part of either of the first
Yeah,
2
yeah, I remember that. I remember my mom
like chapters.
running away from that guy. But Honestly, I don't think I don't think you feel like part of the narrative in Bendy. Like you really, as a character, again, it's so like conceptually different from like your role in the story that it just doesn't blend together that well. I think.
Yeah, you just get like thrown in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're just
That's fine.
there.
You're just a guy living in like this world of like cartoons that it doesn't exactly work. And given like the whole game is drawn in that aesthetic, it's like
Yeah, what does your character even look like at that point?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
that's fair.
Like
That's fair.
how do you look like a person or do you look like the cartoons that are animated similar to the rest of the game? That is actually a very good like point that I didn't even realize. Like what does Henry look like?
Oh, wait, I think he shows up or no, somebody shows up at the end. That's kind of interesting now. I have to go back to the end cuz there is like a scene where the whole game changes in style.
Uh,
Um
hmm.
That makes me kind of interested in it. I'm gonna try to propose this for English class, dude. If we get the same class, I'm gonna ask to
Bendy
do
and the
Bendy.
Machine playthrough English class.
Play through
No, no.
Bendy.
So third try has an elective where you talk about narrative in video games, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think Bendy can be talked about because it's
See,
cheap.
see, narratives in video games could honestly be a like great class because there are a ton of games that have fantastic stories
I just
and like
yeah.
aren't even necessarily great games, but have fantastic stories. Like my best example is of that in particular is Mafia 3. Mafia 3 was Mafia 3 was best enjoyed if you only watch the cutscenes. Like if only the cutscenes of Mafia 3 were a movie, it'd be like really cool. But like playing Mafia 3 like it was fine. But I played the whole thing cuz I wanted to know what happened in the story. Like it was one of
I've heard
those.
people say the same thing about Death Stranding, where it's like just watch the, just watch every cutscene, and that's it. Where it makes
I
like a
can
better
see
And I,
movie.
that.
I think that see, I honestly think we should do a full episode on if that's a good thing or not. For like for games in general, if the fact that there are games being made like that is good or not.
That's a good point. I'm gonna say no right now, but that's definitely gonna be a future episode. And I guess I'm gonna go back to metacriticism of games being criticized.
Yeah.
So do you guys know a lot about Doom 3? That's the next game I have. Which again, I am quite the doomer. So again, I maybe
True
all
Doom.
the picks I just
Doom 3.
like they
I
just
have seen it.
reciprocate my idea. So you've seen it. It looks good.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
don't know.
very good for when it came out. I think it's '04 or '06.
What's 6? Oh, first, like, what do people think is wrong with it?
Okay, well, the biggest criticism that's not like what we're talking about. It's too dark,
Damn.
which is funny.
Just
I mean, I
dark.
get it because like it's a game based on shooting and it's too dark. You can't see anything. So I get that it has a point. Or you have to switch to your flashlight, see where everything is, and then switch back to the gun and then shoot them. I guess doesn't do well for games, but and it's also just not like
That just sounds horribly like not fun.
yeah. I actually
It just
haven't
sounds
done the
not
whole
fun
game.
at all.
I need to play it because like I've heard a lot of reviews that are like it's a good game. It's not a good Doom game. So Doom had two predecessors here, Doom 1 and 2. Well, also Final Doom and a lot of Doom mods being made. Um and you can't jump. They're from 1993 and 1994. And 10 years later you get Doom 3. And I wonder if they were right to expect something like the original Doom games, which you can't jump, can't aim up or down, you can't do that much. Really, in comparison to the games at the time, or even not that far after Doom 2. Like Quake came out in '96. Quake, you can jump, you can look up and down, you have a crosshair, and games just, I guess, accelerated rapidly after that, right after Doom. So with that in
Okay,
mind,
okay, okay, Joe Rogan.
I get it. I like boomer shooters. I'm sorry, but well, so I guess Doom 3 isn't like bad because one, it looks really good. Like the engine is, very commendable. I still think it looks good, even like today. Well, it doesn't really look that good from today's standards. I just think, like looking back, yeah, I like that. I don't know. I think it was wrong to expect a game like the other two Doom games, but I also think it is a Doom game. Plot wise, I guess it kind of exists in the vacuum. Plot wise too, I think. Well, actually, that's arguable. I don't know how the Doom lore adds up. Yeah, I don't. Again, I guess I'm too much of a Doom fan that this is just me talking. Again,
This is just turned into the Joe Rogan podcast.
well, yeah. Sometimes the Joe Rogan podcast ends up just Doom and Quake. I don't know. I love Doom and Quake.
Hey
So,
Jamie, have you ever played Quake?
Ooh.
have you ever tried DMT while playing Quake?
Hey Jamie, I saw Jamie playing this PUBG earlier. Has he ever tried Quake?
Quake. Quake.
Quake's a good game.
I played it in Minecraft.
Oh my god, I hate that. I hate that. So
Uh,
I mean, I guess that's a good point though to cite this as a criticism. So Doom and Quake, and this might be true for, I know Jude is a big ROM hack person. So Doom modding it's still an active community. Doom still gets modded. Mods reinvent the game in so many different ways, from changing weapons, gameplay, or literally just making their own game out of Doom. And that's essentially the way.
in a microwave.
No, not even like that. But that's also like way too. That's not even what Doom modding is. That's just like what you have to do.
Yeah, I know, but I just
It's
just
funny.
wanted to say that to be
You
stupid.
play it on a pregnancy test. Anyways, so I guess like that's how I find myself playing Doom, because I think that's testament to how games like this that are that old just haven't held up in terms of what we desire from a game.
that's fair.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And it's like, as we experience new stuff in games, like that's what innovation is. like
Mm-hmm.
that's innovation.
Literally.
That's games being innovated.
That's true. And like,
And it's like that with anything. Like we have like in cars, we have like backup camera things and like, automatic braking for certain stuff. And like obviously that's different than enjoying a video game, but like
You have a point
you
though.
wouldn't purposely buy a car without that stuff because it doesn't have that stuff. Because, it's a Honda, but it's not a
Not a
it's
good
a good
Honda.
car, but it's not a good Honda. Yeah, like if you take the criticism to anything else, it's like it's dumb.
Yeah,
Movies,
that's a good point.
Movies, like I guess movies would have been a better example because like it's an actual storytelling thing and not like a car.
Well, I feel like it
But-
happens to movies too. Like my mom said Terminator 2 isn't like Terminator 1, but that's probably because she just doesn't like Terminator 2. I don't think. I don't know.
Well, that's what's interesting. That's what's interesting about the Terminator series. Terminator 1 is like Terminator 1 and 4 are very much not like 2 and 3. And like 4 is just its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
1 is like not like 2 and 3 very much. 2 and 3 are the closest like to each
Yeah.
other in my opinion. And like I enjoy 2 and 3 the most. 3 like Terminator is the only series where like the third one in the series is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I've like it's never been like that for me for anything else.
Yeah, I see. I get.
Except no, that's not true. That's not true. Lord of the Rings. I like the third Lord of the Rings
Real.
one.
I'm a Two Towers person.
You're a Two Towers
Yeah,
person. I
Fair enough.
but I mean,
I like that. True.
this is
That's
extremely.
fair.
It's a good movie. It's not a good Lord of the Rings movie.
It's a good movie, but it's not a good movie to me.
Well,
That
obviously,
that definitely happened. That definitely
for
happened.
Return of the King, yeah, my mom doesn't like it. I think it's fine though.
I like Return of the King.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to go back to like game, I don't know. How do you feel like Jude within the context of ROM hacks? Like, does Super Mario World hold up that you have to play it like Kaizo now or whatever? I don't know what you do.
So like ROM hacks, like there's like mad innovation in ROM hacks. Where like the ROM hack standards today are like so much different than those of like like a decade ago, when, like Kaizo or like the first like GBA hacks for certain games started coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that like they like this criticism has come in like into ROM hacks as well, because like there's just like so many new things being introduced and like so many new tools to like work and play with. But I guess in the vacuum,
I swear to God, I swear to God, if I ever hear it's a good mod, but it's not a good Doom mod, I'm gonna like throw myself
Oh,
off
eh,
the
that
roof.
literally, there's a lot of grounds for that. But anyway, keep
where
going,
it
Jude.
is. But I guess in the vacuum, like like do games hold up even after people have improved on it like so much greatly? I think that there is like a certain value, especially for Mario and Fire Emblem, which I think are like the two games that like have like substantial enough hacking bases to have like enough hacks that are better than like the base game, but also have uh like a modding community that introduces so many new things to the game as well. I feel like the original games
Mm-hmm.
do stand up because they do preserve some like the original design, and like I guess in some sense they kind of like show kind of like the base game, kind of like this like the original rendition of the game. I feel like there's like value in like appreciating
Mm-hmm.
like what the original was supposed to be.
I see. I can kind of see that for Doom, and I guess where what Ray had just said. Like there are Doom mods that have nothing in common with Doom. Like they literally make
That's fair.
more. A lot of them make it more like look like Quake or like a Quake type game or like a build engine game. That kind of thing happens.
Okay, okay,
So
like,
it's a good mod, but it's not a good Doom mod.
but you can't have that logic for a mod and not for anything else.
Yeah, I know. It's literally a Doom mod because it's using the Doom engine. So it's a Doom mod. I don't know. It's just funny. I don't know if that happens within ROM hacks because I guess it's just like a different style or like what you mod is different. Where I guess like you have like a base game, and the way Doom works. But I'm not gonna get into the Joe Rogan mechanics of how the Doom source
Joe
code works.
Rogan Quake Doom mechanics.
Yeah, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to talk about that. We got to move on to the next game. This is too nostalgia oriented right now.
It's
But
fair.
yet we're all like Zoomers, so it's weird that I like Doom, which is like a boomer
Yeah,
game.
it's
Like,
weird that you have nostalgia about this.
yeah, exactly. Like same thing. That's what's funny. Like being like a part of like the Doom community. If you go on YouTube and you watch like Doom YouTubers, they're all old, and everybody in the
They're all Joe
comments is
Rogan.
old.
Boomers.
They're Joe
Literally.
Rogan. They're Joe Rogan.
They're boomers. The boomers of the gaming community. Fucking
So it feels
They're
really
like
weird.
they're boomer shooters for a reason.
true, true. I will give it that. Anyways,
All right,
that's enough
next
about
game.
Doom. On to our next
Yeah,
one.
I mean, obviously, Doom has so much of a legacy that it's easy to talk about. But Jude,
It's a good podcast, but it's not a good Doom podcast.
oh man, I know somebody who had a Doom podcast, but I I really have to stop. It's a good movie, but it's not a good Doom movie.
Oh, come on.
MGS5, Jude,
The
what
Gear
is your take?
Solid 5. Honestly, for me, I feel like there's when most people think of MGS, I feel like they mostly think of 3 and sometimes 4. I would say like instead of like MGS 5, I feel like most people feel like for Revengeance, which is like a totally different playing field than like like whatever the fuck they were doing in like 3-4 and like to an extent 5. Because like this one's more about theming in my opinion because okay we've changed it to Revengeance by the way, so um that's like where I'm coming from, but like when you guys think of like Metal Gear Solid, like what the fuck do you think?
G- just I see. I don't even know. A Psycho Mantis. Uh, Snake. Colonel. Colonel. Um,
Yeah, like sneak military stuff, regular shit
yeah,
like
it's a lot
that.
of like
Yeah,
stealth,
just like
Yeah,
military,
yeah, fucking.
stealth
They had,
military.
like nano machines and like fucking grappling hooks and like fucking robots and like androids and shit in Revengeance. Like, what the fuck? Like for a lot of people, it's like, what the fuck is happening?
That's funny.
That's fine. And like, I feel like that's kind of like that's how some people like feel about like when a series like takes like a sudden drastic change in like style and shit too. And also like
That's so funny.
Revenge doesn't even, at least to my knowledge, it isn't really like it isn't really about Snake in the first place.
That's I mean, looking at it right now with a 9 out of 10 on Steam, I'm like, I think I saw my brother playing this, and I guess it reminded me more of 5, because I watched him play 5, kind of. I didn't like go out of my way to watch the game. I watched 5, and then he was playing this or 4, I forget. I'm pretty sure it was this one. Um, I'm trying to think of a game where I've had that experience, because that is so funny. Just like you play a game, then you get a game, and it's so different that in terms of like
Yeah, hold up. I'll say
robots.
I'll say this is kind of true if you were what's it called again? If you were a Dragon Guard fan and then it became Near Automata, you must have been so fucking confused. Like if you like just search up Dragon Guard, it's like it just does not look like Near Automata.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see.
yeah, kind of like the evolution of that. So like the steps where it's like how did we go from like I don't even know what the fuck Dragon Guard's about, like dragons or some shit, to like like I don't know, like a robot.
I would imagine
Yeah,
dragons.
to like I don't know, to like like robots and like
Yeah,
militant robot force in space. Yeah, that must have
it's
been like so
amazing.
weird if you're like. Oh, and also, like, I have no idea what the fuck Dragon Guard's about. Who knows? They could be like reasonably related in a convincing way. But to
Hmm.
me, like just based on looks, like what the fuck is happening?
I need to. Have I had that what the fuck experience? I'm trying to think because it just sounded so familiar. The way they described it was perfect. Oh man, see, I have. I don't remember what games I've played in my life besides like Doom, and this is sad because I've just played games for the last 10 years. Like I'm not gonna say like Little Big Planet or something.
Little Big Planet.
That's applicable enough.
LVP.
First of all, I was big on Little Big Planet, and then like
That's
when the
fair.
third one came out,
Nah, I
it's
respect.
like what the fuck is this?
I respect. I know, like,
What game
is there
is like
any
what the
a
fuck is
game
this?
series where we're playing a different one just made you go, "What the fuck am I playing?"
I mean, I can do seeing a different one. Well, no, that's just also says more about my stupid gameplay. My stupid game taste is like Alien Hominid because I love Alien
Yes,
Hominid.
Alien Hominid.
And there's
Yes.
a new Alien Hominid. I don't know if it's
Yes.
out. Alien Hominid Invasion, and
No way, there's a new one.
it looks shit. It looks like shit. I was looking at it. I was like, what the
No.
fuck is this?
No.
What did they do to Alien Hominid?
No.
Just go look at just look up. I don't know if you can. Otherwise, I'll go get a picture of Alien Hominid Invasion.
Well, I'll look at
Yeah,
it. I'll look at it at
yeah.
some point.
I guess too. To like, I guess like people sometimes also say, "What the fuck" is like a good thing, because I feel like it's also applicable there too.
Yeah, it very much depends on the
Yeah,
series,
yeah, yeah.
doesn't it?
I just wanted to add that as a note.
Because like if if it's like a if it's like and it depends on how it depends on like what kind of reaction that is, because like It I don't know. I guess it depends a lot on the
Like
series. I
looking,
thought I could think of an example in the time that I was talking
does
about.
Metal Gear Solid 4 start with like I think you're Raiden and you're fighting like big robots?
I don't even know what the fuck's happening
Is
in
that
Metal Gear
4?
Solid 4. At least I think Metal Gear Solid 4 and like the various fives have like that have like the
Well, I mean,
same like
I just
have
I
like
don't remember which
Raiden
one I was watching.
have like Raiden like the cinematics and all that shit, but like just like the look and feel of like Revengeance is like to me that's like they look so different.
But like looking at it, like I was like, this looks fun. Like I would play this. Like you're cutting big robots as Raiden, and this is like, wow, I want to play this game. So at the same time, I think it can definitely be good.
I think so too. I think so.
If executed well, I want to say it can be good, or it could just be Alien Hominid, where you
Alien
kill
Hominid.
your own franchise. Or let's see, what games have done that? See, again, like it doesn't exactly. I mean, I don't want to say that happened for like Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal. I mean, it kind of did for Doom Eternal because there's literally fire bars in Doom, like out of Bowser's castle, and there's so much
Oh, what
platforming.
the fuck? I did not know about Bowser's Castle coming to Doom,
There's
dude.
fire bars in Doom Eternal, and I'm just like, what?
What?
Why? Why
I
is this
did
here?
not know
That's-
about
that's
this.
weird.
That sounds weird,
weird.
but also like could be good, perhaps.
I don't even know. I don't like the approach. I guess it's good because Doom Eternal did very well. That's just true. So yeah, you're right. Part of it
I guess not people
obviously
liked
has
it.
to. Yeah, but as somebody who even like,
I mean, we were talking about innovation this whole time, so.
but it doesn't innovate. It's Bowser's castle. It doesn't innovate.
Guess what?
Anything, it's like a tech demo.
A tech demo.
Tech demo.
Yeah, like
That's a
that's
bit-
how I feel. That's what I looked at the platforming in Doom Eternal. Like they're just segments of the levels where you're not fighting anything and you're just getting from this point to this point
Oh,
using
so
Yeah,
just
that's
straight-
weird for it. That's weird
Yeah,
for
just
a
straight
Doom game, isn't
platforming.
it?
Yeah, and you
That's
literally
weird
just
for a
you
Doom
have
game.
2 dashes
Yeah.
and 2 jumps, and you have to use all of them
Oh,
to
shit.
get there, and that's it. You're doing nothing but dashes and
You
jumps.
you were literally playing Hollow Knight.
Yeah, literally, it's like
For
First-person
me, when I think
Hollow
of Doom, it's like you enter one room, you look at the door, you find the door, and then you just like walk in a straight line to that door, and you shoot whatever's on your way to that door.
that. Yeah. So like, I would be like at least have like some shooting, kind of, other than like puzzle platforming elements, because it's not like it doesn't exactly serve a purpose for it to be innovative at all. You could just have put the part at the end of the platforming here. Like it doesn't punish you in any way to change the experience of the game. Like you lose like 5 HP or like 1.
You could almost say that it's
I'm not ready.
not a good Doom game.
It's also weird with like longevity franchises like Doom and Resident Evil or Mario that what even is a Doom
Legend of
game
Zelda.
now?
Yeah. Like a Doom game is just a game that is called Doom.
Yeah. Same thing like Doom 2016, it would be a good version of Doom 2016 because it keeps mostly the same of that. I mean, it's not even like a good version. Like I don't want to say it's good, but like within response to that, yeah, it matches that with some changes, and I personally am not the biggest fan of either of them, but I'm glad that they exist for the franchise. Like I think it's good for the franchise, for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up back on Doom, so I have to go to the next game.
Yeah, like oh yeah,
I know we
wait.
we're like we're gonna
Yeah,
get off
like,
of Doom
wait,
and then
wait,
came
wait,
right
are
back
we
to Doom.
back?
But I think maybe I saved the best for last. But I know me and Jude might disagree here.
Go
Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts,
nuts and fucking bolts.
which
Alright.
I played a lot of this growing up. I played it with my family. It
That's
had good multiplayer. I spent a lot of time on this game.
All right, so give
It
it.
was my first
What's-
Banjo game.
What's objectively bad about nuts and bolts? And then you can give me
Um,
what's different about nuts and bolts.
what is bad about it? Let's see. Well, I guess it's just a dumb game. Like you have to. What is bad? I'm trying to remember what's bad because I haven't played it in a while. I don't feel like buying nuts and bolts
I don't think
again to
anyone
play
does.
it. Yeah. Well, but that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I'm just trying to think what. There was nothing I didn't like, I guess, as I was young. But in hindsight, I just think the progression is dumb. I don't know. So Jude, if you're not familiar, do you know about you definitely know about Banjo Kazooie as a
Of
game?
course, yeah. I know
Yeah.
nuts and bolts like you build shit for some reason now.
Yeah, so Ray, Banjo Kazooie, you have like Mario 64 esque platforming, and yeah,
I've watched people play
yeah,
Banjo
yeah.
Kazooie. I,
Nuts
I
and
have I
bolts.
have the general idea.
Nuts and bolts is a more RPG kind of thing where you go to quests, you build your own car with stuff you find in a
What?
semi-open world map, and you make a car and you race people with it.
That's interesting and
It's
different
You know,
than the
based
Banjo
on that
Kazooie I've
description,
seen.
to me it sounds like Breath of the Wild, but like it wasn't a 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
yeah, I guess a lot of it was poorly.
Where it's like they kind of
The
try
story
something new,
sucked.
but then it's like,
I
it
think the
flopped.
story's bad, but the story's kind of. Was the story even bad?
I don't even know what the fuck
Like I
this
don't know. The
game's even
story is
about.
like Banjo's fat now. Like Banjo's fat. Kazooie can't lift up Banjo, and they can't platform anymore. So
That's not
What?
real.
that's how the game starts.
That's not
You're
real.
Banjo. You
There's
saved the
no
world
way.
twice.
No way.
You're fat. You're fat. You can't do anything with Kazooie anymore.
So you
So
have to build a car.
What?
you build cars. And Mumbo Jumbo has a
Banjo
garage.
goes to America.
Literally that.
Banjo becomes American.
He lives. So yeah, you live out the American dream after 2 games, and all of the same characters are in the game. Oh, it's so.
Are they also fat?
I think so. Not exactly fatter. Well, I mean, some of the characters are just fat.
Banjo's weight loss journey.
Bottles is just fat. Kazooie, I don't think is fat. Kazooie is like fat shaming you the whole game. Yeah, I
This
guess it's
is,
not
like,
a good Banjo
so
game.
weird.
It's so funny.
It's just
It
so
is funny.
absurd.
See, I don't even know what to say. I haven't played it in so long that I don't know what to say. I probably could find the strategy guide because I own it.
The
You
fucking
own
the nuts
the
and bolts strategy guide.
Yep, I have it. So I guess the building system is dumb. It's not like, like racing games where you like customize the parts and stuff. It's more you have kinds of blocks. You put the blocks, and then you need to put fuel in places, and you need to put wheels, and you have to put you could put like lasers and ammo. Ammo is like a block. It's like a grid system, and it's like Bad Piggies.
Oh, okay, okay. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, it's like 3D Bad Piggies. Which is like weird. That's like the best comparison I could find, and it's a good comparison. I don't know. People hate it so much. I don't know if it deserves all
Bro,
of that hate.
Bad Piggies is great.
It's like bad piggies. Oh shit.
Bro, Bad Piggies, I loved Bad Piggies.
I love the theme so much.
Yeah, it's a
I know. The theme from Bad Piggies was better than Angry
it's a
Birds.
good
Better
Angry
than Angry
Birds
Birds.
game, but
It's a good
it's a
game.
good game. It's not a good Angry.
It's a fantastic Angry Birds game.
Can you imagine saying that for fucking Angry Birds?
I feel like
Nah,
that
nah.
happened.
For real,
feel-
like the
The space one.
What was the Star Wars one? The Star Wars one?
Yeah, Star
The
Wars
Star
one?
Wars one?
No way.
Yeah, the Star Wars one was not a good game either way.
That's
Well,
probably what
this is
people
my
say
first
about
time
Nuts
hearing
and
of a
Bolts.
Star Wars one.
The Star Wars one sucked. The space one I think there was a separate space one. I think there was like a space one and a Star Wars one separately. Yeah, there definitely was.
Angry Birds lore.
Yeah.
See, that's also
Honestly, we
weird
should do an Angry Birds lore video.
because the first Angry Birds isn't like available from like the App Store
I know,
anymore.
it's so sad.
So like, what is an Angry Birds game?
An Angry Birds game is when you throw birds at pigs. And they don't have lightsabers, which is
They have
literally what the Star
lightsabers.
Wars one was.
I did not know about.
Yep.
Okay, no more Angry Birds. Fuck this. Fuck this. So, is Nuts and Bolts actually fitting, deserving, and befitting of? It's a good. Is it even a good game?
I guess it's really not a good game. I guess the plot is stupid because the concept isn't
Okay.
very well. I mean, I guess it was thought out because I remember it having good atmosphere and all of like the Banjo characters are there and it's funny. So
Banjo becomes American as a concept.
yeah,
is just
exactly. All
hilarious
of
for me
that
to
is
think about.
funny, but I guess this is so hard. I didn't expect it to be this hard. I guess because I know the most about this game and I don't remember that much, and I guess like it's such a weird change. It's a weird change. Like, you know, the other games kind of stay close to genre, but they more like go where the genre is evolving. This one just goes into a different genre. I want to say in not even like a close genre, like an opposite genre. Cause like I don't want to hate it, cause then I feel like I'm being like the people that don't like it, people that wanted Banjo 3E. But then like yeah, I don't know. This is so hard. I guess like within that context and the general like premises laid out by the Banjo series, it does like use some of those, but not exactly what made it Banjo. It doesn't really feel like one at all. Feels more, and I guess it's not a good Banjo game in that sense, but at the same time, I feel like it is a Banjo game, but I also feel like if they were pressured to like make the game, I don't know much about the backstory or what was going on with like Rare. Like Rare's been, their situation has been weird. Just like over the years in terms of like who owns Rare, who they work for. And I don't know if they like were forced to get this idea out and they just threw Banjo on it, and that like sense. Then maybe this criticism holds up where it's like it's not a good game and it wasn't like supposed to be a Banjo game.
Maybe. That would make sense, as like an actual reason for that.
I can see that maybe. So I
We found an exception.
well, I don't know if that's true for this game, but that's true for like I'm not gonna keep going with the boomer cuts here, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Please continue with your boomer games.
Okay, well, because I don't know why this is the only game I know about, but it's like I'm really gonna talk about this game. So 1998, you had a Build Engine game. Build Engine was the engine that Duke Nukem used.
I remember this.
Yeah. So Blood is a 1998 shooter, and it's a really good game. The same developers they wanted a sequel done, and I think the management changed, so they were just keeping like they had this deadline that they couldn't meet, so they just had to release the most shit tier game ever that is called Blood 2.
Oh, I think I know.
Yeah, this sounds
okay.
familiar.
Oh, that. I think I know what you're talking about.
So, in that sense, yeah, I guess that's not a good game either way, but it wasn't supposed to exist, and that wasn't a condition it was meant to be criticized in. So in that sense, I don't want to call that a Blood game at all.
So is it bad? It's a bad game. So it does pass the. Well, I guess it doesn't really even pass because it's not even a good game. So it doesn't pass our original statement. It's just not a good Banjo game, is what I hear.
Yeah, I don't want to because I came in this episode like, no, this criticism is dumb. This is a Banjo game. This is a Doom game, whether I like it or not. This is a Banjo game. whether I like it or not. But as you get into more of like the bigger qualities of games and ideas with something like Banjo, like I don't know, some games like Resident Evil keeps like this zombie premise, a zombie horror premise. You have to fight zombies, except for and like you're losing for most of the game. It's very difficult, and except for Resident Evil 5 and 6, but. And it's like not a big change stylistically, where Nuts and Bolts was an example of that. Like Doom never changed in setting. You're on Mars, Earth, or Hell. That is never changed. Banjo, you're in like yeah, I don't even know where you are. So like the beginning, you look like you're in Banjo's house, and it looks good. Like it's about to be the best Banjo game I ever played, and I'm fat as Banjo. But then you go to like this weird, some kind of messed up version of the Banjo world that it's just a huge change atmosphere wise, gameplay wise. I feel like other games do this. I'm just not talking about them because like Nuts and Bolts is funny. That I guess it's maybe it's not a good Banjo game. But it also is a Banjo game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, I don't like. I feel like I'm losing my own argument. That's why I'm like hesitant. But yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, you kind of are.
I was like,
you could have just undid the first like half hour.
But again, I don't know. I kind of like wish like, well, wishing anybody played Nuts and Bolts is wrong. But I like wish you guys played it. But I don't want to wish that on people.
Wishing anybody played.
don't play this game. It just sucks.
Like if I have a conversation that starts with something like, "Hey man, you played Nuts and Bolts?" Oh shit!
I would explode if that was ever like a conversation starter. All right, fuck this. No more Nuts and Bolts.
Okay.
Hey girl, you ever played
Fuck
Nuts
this
and
shit.
Bolts?
On to our next point. Is this bad for games? Is this criticism a bad criticism?
Well, not only is it
I think-
not like is it bad for games like, well, is this
Is
criticism?
it bad for games? Is a different question.
Yeah, is it bad for games to do this? Do you guys think? I mean, I think we kind of agree. No, that like this is helpful for games. This is how games need to operate.
I agree.
This is how
this is
games
innovation.
get better.
And sometimes that's the risk with innovation. You can just
Oh yeah, I guess Nuts and Bolts is an example of the risk in innovation.
Yeah.
you can just like
Well,
cuck it up.
I mean, yeah, it has to be like innovating.
It doesn't always work.
That's fine. I mean, that's pretty much just how it goes.
And like as we said, I guess this is what we could talk about. Like with the opposite being games that are remaking the same games over and over that get away with it, or just get criticized for it. Which do you guys know any games that did that? I brought it up earlier, no, but we didn't answer it. I'm trying to think. Sports games.
All sports games.
Just like the same thing
but
over and
especially
over.
2K.
Yep.
Yeah, 2K is like the most egregious of that.
Dude, I can't even put into words how much
You hate 2K.
I hate 2K. Like,
I don't know.
FIFA.
For me, I guess that franchise is. It's Dragon Quest, but like the point of Dragon Quest is that every game in the series is like a grindy JRPG. So it kind of is like supposed to be like I don't know, like kind of bland and stale because like that's why it got popular in the first place.
that's the
That is the genre. It's like grindy JRPG.
I see. I don't know enough about Dragon Quest other than there's like a shit ton of games.
is it sucks.
That's a good genre. Well, I mean that's the JRPG genre. No, it's not. It's that kind. I mean, JRPG is like a weird genre, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like a
with
lot of
Dark Souls.
yeah yeah. Don't get me started. Dark Souls is a JRPG.
Yeah, so JRPG really doesn't. is broader than most people think.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
can is Mother considered JRPG?
Is what is
Well,
JRPG?
Mother series,
Mother's JRPG.
Earthbound. Yeah.
Near Automata's
So most people.
JRPG.
Ooh, that's rough.
That's a good one.
So yeah, I wouldn't say like JRPG can be a genre, but grindy kind of vibe is, I guess that's the genre it made for itself.
I don't know. Like for me, on like a reviewer level, I feel like it's kind of like if you ever say this as like a review, I feel like you should just delete the sentence and make like explain why.
Yeah. That's a good note to end on. Like, come on, don't
Yeah,
let
like just
yourself use
like yeah,
this.
like you just
Yeah,
you just
sure.
need to explain.
And I think that's just good essay writing advice in general. Like if you ever write a sentence that you think needs another sentence to explain, just make that new sentence the sentence you're going to put
Hmm.
down in the final product.
Yep.
Obviously, it doesn't work for everyone, but works well enough for like a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of it's
Mhm.
like you don't know how to say you don't like this game or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about it.
Anyways,
All right, I can end it there. That was
Yeah.
fun.
I think that was good.
Mm-hmm. That
Yeah.
was good.
All
All
right.
right, bye guys.
Well, thank you.